let's get to cooking. This is what we're doing today at Memaw's house. Hey y'all, welcome back to Memaw's house. I'm so glad you decided to return. I have my apron on and we're going to get to baking today. I found a recipe. It's an old recipe. It's a Miss Marguerette, I think I'm pronouncing her name right, Miss Marguerette Allen's cream cheese pound cake. Miss Margaret Allen's cream cheese pound cake. And I know I make a pound cake, but is it like Miss Margaret Allen's? The recipe is a little bit different. So I wanted to try that today. And I want to see, I'm still trying to try recipes to see what I want to do for Thanksgiving at my house. So Miss Margaret Allen might be in the running. So if you want to see the recipe that I did before, I did a sweet potato pound cake that may be one of those that I'll put on my Thanksgiving table. We'll see how that turns out, but I'll link that above so that you can see what that pound cake looks like as opposed to this new one that I'm making today. So stay put and let's get to cooking. Here are the ingredients that we'll be using to make today's cake. 8 ounces of cream cheese softened, 3 sticks of butter softened, 3 cups of granulated sugar, 6 large eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of almond extract, 1 teaspoon of butter flavoring, and 3 cups of cake flour. Of course, this list of ingredients will be down in the description box. I found this cake recipe on Pinterest. Of course, you know, I'm always skating around on Pinterest finding some good recipes to cook for my family. And I just ran across this one and it intrigued me. It is called Miss Margaret Allen's Cream Cheese Pound Cake. And of course, we'll start baking the cake by creaming together our butter and sugar. Now, according to the recipe, it says that Miss Margaret Allen, which I saw a newspaper article about from whatever city Miss Margaret Allen used to live in, they did an article about her and this cake. And she said, if this cake does not turn out right, it's because you didn't use cake flour. So today I am using cake flour. I normally use all-purpose flour, but today I'm using cake flour. So let's get our butter and sugar creamed together until nice and fluffy, and then we'll work on the rest of the ingredients. Now, as my butter and sugar are creaming, I'm going to go ahead and add my extracts. The butter flavoring, the almond extract, and the vanilla extract. We'll get that in, and then we'll add our eggs, one at a time. I wanted to take this time to thank all of my new subscribers and to thank all of my subscribers who've been here since day one. I certainly do appreciate your support, and I hope I'm bringing content that you enjoy. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to see me do, please put it down in the comment section and I'll be glad to try it for you. Now let's go ahead and add our eggs. And of course, I've cracked my eggs into a separate container so that I don't have any shells to get anywhere. Now this recipe is a little bit different than my traditional cream cheese pound cake recipe in that it only calls for the flour. And of course, I'm going to sift this flour, and you know, the cake flour, if you get swans down or something like that, it comes pre-sifted, but I wanted to sift it because mine had been sitting in the canister for a minute, so it kind of settled, and I wanted to loosen it up a little bit. So I'm sifting my flour, but this cake recipe does not call for any kind of leavening at all other than those 6 eggs. So I didn't add any. No salt, no baking powder, no baking soda, nothing like that. This is just the flour. And normally a pound cake would call for some sort of liquid that I would alternate with the flour. But this piece of the batter is already wet enough. We're just going to go ahead and add the flour in right now all together and get it mixed, and then mix the last little bit by hand. Oh, and I'm going to take it slow because you see I got flour all over my hand already, so we don't want it all over the room. So we're going to go ahead and take it slow, and then I'll stop it and mix the rest by hand. Now I'm going to prepare my 12-cup fluted cake pan by spraying it with some Pam baking spray. And I'm going to make sure I get it all into those nooks and crannies because this is a decorative pan. And I want to make sure that the cake comes out of the pan when I'm ready for it to come out. Of course, you can use some butter or lard shortening and put flour in it and coat it with flour. However you get your cake out of the pan is okay with me. But there are 2 ways that I know of that you can get the cake out. And that's by spraying and using the butter flour method. Now that I've gotten all of my batter into my pan, I'm going to do what I traditionally do, and that's to press it down into the pan. You know I got to get all my batter out of that bowl. If I saw even a spoonful of batter, it has to come out. Anyway, let's go ahead and press it down into the pan to make sure that it fills up all those nooks and crannies. And then we'll tap it down and get it into a 325-degree oven, and we'll bake it for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. Okay, y'all, so the cake is in the oven and I'm baking it at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. It will bake for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. It really depends upon how fast your oven cooks or how slowly your oven cooks. So it's in the oven and I'm going to let it do. It does not require any frosting or glaze. It should be a standalone pound cake all by itself. So we'll let that bake and I'll be back to turn it out and have a taste test. It smells absolutely delicious in here, and the cake looks beautiful. Now let's go ahead and get the cake turned out onto the cake plate. And you know I'm old school. I always like to have a doily under my cake if I have a doily on hand, so that it won't stick to my pan, my cake plate, or make a mess. So let's get her flipped out. Taste test is here. Let's give it a try.
It's moist. You can taste the cream cheese, and it still has that classic pound cake taste to it.
Very
10
good.
out of 10.
10 out of 10. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, y'all. So my taste tester said it was good. I'm going to taste me a little piece now. And I like the crust on it. The crust feels like a good crusty pound cake. Might be chewy. Let's see what it's saying. The crust is a little chewy. The texture is nice and moist, but it is flaky. And the taste is good. The flavor is good. That almond and vanilla and butter really does make it wonderful. So, Miss Marguerite Allen's cream cheese pound cake might be in the running for Thanksgiving. So, I'm going to, at the end of this series, I'm going to ask y'all to vote for me, okay? So, If you have not subscribed to my channel and you would like to do so, if you like this kind of content, please feel free to subscribe. We would love to have you over here at Memaw's house. And for those of you who have subscribed and make those lovely comments and give me all those thumbs up, I appreciate you so very much. So, thank you for taking the time to hang out with me while I baked another cake. Y'all be blessed, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's content. Here's another playlist and another video that you can watch while I upload the next video. Y'all be blessed. Bye.